Motorola introduced 3 different variants of the Moto G this year: the regular edition, the Play edition, and the most expensive one, the Plus edition. The regular and Plus models are pretty much the same except for that the Plus has a fingerprint scanner and an option for 4GB of RAM. The Plus can almost be seen as a direct replacement for the Moto X from last year because from what it appears, there is no Moto X this year. The Plus edition costs $250 and $300 in America. $250 will get you 16GB of storage and only 2GB of RAM, and $300 would get you 64GB of storage and 4GB of RAM. It's well worth the extra $50. The model I have here only has 2GB of RAM. I selected 2GB because it's obvious that 4GB wouldn't have an issue with RAM usage, and I was more curious to see how 2GB on a phone would actually feel like. I never experienced any slowdown with the Plus. That being said, I'm not a heavy user by any means. Inside are nearly the exact same specs as the regular Moto G. A Snapdragon 617, a 3000 mAh battery, 2 and 4GB of RAM, expandable storage, a 1080p screen, and a 16 megapixel camera. The model I have here came from the UK, so I'm unsure if the US version will actually include any dual SIM card slots, but it would be a nice option. I would show you guys benchmarks, but it doesn't show any justice to how the phone actually does in day-to-day usage. As I stated before, I'm not a heavy user by any means. I don't play any games or do any demanding tasks on my phone that use a lot of RAM or processing power. The phone has held up well with the tasks I actually use it for, like email, Twitter, Instagram, Reddit, YouTube, and web browsing. Phones are moving towards a point in time where specs don't really matter all too much. This time Motorola improved the screen quality and screen size. Now we have a 5.5 inch 1080p screen instead of the usual 720p, and it's just an awesome screen. But one thing I really do hate about it is how big the phone is to use with one hand. Yes, you can't use it with one hand by holding it in one or two positions, but if I try to lay down in bed and use it with one hand, it's too awkward to use it with one hand, and I have to force myself to use two hands, which I hate sometimes. The Moto G4 Plus runs near stock Android Marshmallow. It's shipped with Android 6.0.1, so there's no worry about having to update your phone before initial usage. As expected, it runs smooth. I didn't notice any hiccups or bugs during my time with the phone. It does, however, come with one preloaded app, and it's a pretty cool one. If you aren't familiar with Motorola's gestures, you'll find it actually useful. If you want to look in the dark without fiddling through your phone, just chop twice and you have a flashlight. Or if you want to take a picture of a fight or just a video of a fight, you can flick your wrist twice and your camera opens up. The speaker is on the front side of the phone, which is good, except for that it vibrates the whole phone on max volume. The speaker vibrations are the most annoying thing about this phone because it's very noticeable. It's slightly below the screen, and it can easily be subjected to water damage if water does happen to fall inside the speaker cutout. Battery life is great. I was able to go into day 2 without charging the phone without any worries. You can't take out the 3000 mAh battery, which isn't a problem in my eyes because phone manufacturers are straying away from it and it has an unusual battery shape. The phone features turbocharging, in which it charges from 0 to 100 in about an hour and 45 minutes, but charging speed does slow down as it nears 100%. The camera is a bit misleading. It can boast a 16 megapixel back camera, but it can only shoot 1080p video. I'm no photography professional here, but to me, as an average user, the pictures look subpar. Yes, it does have a high megapixel count at 16, but it only means so much to video and image quality. Take the iPhone 6s or the Galaxy S7 for example. Both of those phones have a 12 megapixel camera, but it can shoot a hell of a lot better pictures and videos than the Moto G4 Plus can. The front-facing camera also falls into the same category, except for that it has a wide-angle lens. You can fit much more into your pictures and videos using this front-facing camera. The phone overall is great. Coming from someone who actually had the original Moto G, I'm really glad to see it progress so far. The last question is would I recommend it? And no, I wouldn't recommend this phone. The Moto X Pure from last year is a much better option than this phone because it has a better processor, a better camera, better speakers, a better screen, feels much more premium with the partially metal build, runs Android Marshmallow, and it's going to be cheaper than this phone since it's older. So that'll be it for the video. Leave a like if you liked it, comment, and don't forget to subscribe. Anyway, thank you guys for watching and have a good day.